Good morning, everyone. I want to start today with a simple idea. We don't control everything, and that's not a flaw, that's the design. Each of us is walking through life with dreams, hopes, and visions of where we think we should be. We have goals, we have plans, we have timelines, and when things don't happen when we expect, when doors stay closed, worry creeps in. Fear takes a seat at the table. Doubt whispers in our ear, maybe it's not meant to be. But here's the truth, the right doors don't open by force. They open by timing and by trust. Imagine you're standing in a long hallway filled with doors, some locked, some wide open, some that look enticing but lead to nowhere. Life can feel like that. We rush to force open doors that look right, that look shiny, that seem easy. We twist the handles, we knock louder, we even try to kick them down sometimes. But what if the door that stays closed today is protecting you from a future you're not ready for? What if that no you received was really a not yet? What if behind another door, one you can't even see yet, is something better than you dared to imagine? You see, we are taught to chase certainty. We are taught that success comes from hustle and force. But the deeper wisdom says, trust the process. Trust that the same God who gave you the dream also knows the perfect time to deliver it. God isn't late. God isn't punishing you. God isn't ignoring you. He's preparing you. Maybe he's shaping your character so you can carry the blessing you've been asking for. Maybe he's clearing obstacles you don't even know are ahead. Maybe he's waiting until you are strong enough, wise enough, humble enough to walk through the door and truly thrive. And yes, waiting is hard. Silence is heavy. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. But it's in the waiting that we are made. It's in the uncertainty that our faith is forged. It's in the silence that we hear the whisper, I'm still working, trust me. So if today you find yourself standing in front of a locked door, if today you're feeling behind, unseen, or forgotten, take a breath. Release the worry. Rest in the knowledge that what is meant for you will find you. The door will open when it's supposed to and not a moment too late. The right door is already marked with your name. You don't have to kick it down. You just have to keep walking in faith. And when it opens, you won't have to force anything. It will swing wide in a way that feels like peace, like clarity, like coming home. One of the hardest things for us to accept is that we are not in control of everything that happens in our lives. We plan, we strategize, we work tirelessly, and still sometimes the outcomes do not match our expectations. In those moments, it's tempting to believe something has gone wrong, that maybe we failed, or worse, that we were forgotten. But what if that very lack of control is part of a greater design? What if it's not a mistake, but an intentional part of how life and our journey with God is meant to unfold? We are created with ambition, dreams, and the desire to build meaningful lives. Yet we are not given the ability to control every outcome because we were never meant to bear that burden. Control is heavy. It demands constant vigilance, constant pressure, and a level of foresight that no human being can maintain. If we were in charge of everything, we would spend every day in fear of making the wrong choice, missing the right opportunity, or damaging the future we long for. We would be overwhelmed by the impossible weight of creating a perfect life from imperfect understanding. The truth is, we are participants in a much bigger story, a story that we did not start, and one that does not end with us. Our job is not to know every twist and turn. Our job is to show up, to be faithful with what we have today, and to trust that there is someone greater directing the path we walk. When we recognize that some doors remain closed not because of our failure, but because of divine timing and wisdom, we begin to live with more peace and less panic. We stop seeing obstacles as personal rejections and start seeing them as necessary redirections. It's important to understand that if we were given total control, we might choose things that ultimately harm us, not because we want to, but because we can only see a limited view of the present. We don't know what lies down every road. We don't know which opportunities will bless us and which ones will drain us. Sometimes what looks like a beautiful open door is actually a path to exhaustion, loneliness, or destruction. And sometimes what feels like a painful delay is actually protection, preparation, and mercy. Letting go of the need to control every aspect of life doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive. It means we move forward with hope and effort, but without the fear that everything depends solely on us. It means we acknowledge that there is a God who sees more, knows more, and loves more than we can comprehend. When we live with that trust, we walk lighter. We live freer. We wake up each day with a spirit of expectation rather than anxiety. We were not designed to master every outcome. We were designed to walk with faith, to act with courage, and to trust that when the time is right, the right doors will open, and they will open in ways we could never have achieved by force alone. It's easy to see a closed door as a sign of failure. When an opportunity slips away, when a dream seems delayed, or when a carefully laid plan falls apart, our first instinct is often disappointment or self-blame. We tell ourselves that we missed our chance or that we weren't good enough, but the truth is, not every closed door is a mistake. Many times, closed doors are not obstacles, they are shields. They are moments of divine protection and preparation, not punishment. When a door closes in front of us, it is very often an act of grace that we can't fully recognize in the moment. What looks like rejection may actually be redirection. What feels like loss may be saving us from walking into a situation we were not prepared to handle. Sometimes the things we chase so desperately are not aligned with the future God has designed for us. Sometimes our dreams are too small compared to the life we are meant to live. And sometimes we simply aren't ready yet for the weight of what we are asking for. There are things in life we think we want until we get a little closer and realize they would have cost us far more than we were willing to pay. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Not every door that opens easily is meant for us to walk through. Sometimes closed doors are a clear and intentional message. Asterisk, you are meant for something different. You are meant for something greater. Asterisk that no, you here today might be the very reason you are able to say a bigger yes tomorrow. Preparation seasons are not glamorous. They are filled with long stretches of waiting, of being overlooked, of feeling left out while others seem to move ahead. It can feel unfair. It can feel lonely. But during those seasons, something sacred happens within us. Our character is built. Our roots grow deeper. We learn endurance, patience, humility, and wisdom qualities that success alone can never teach us. Without that preparation, we might walk into our dreams unprepared and crumble under the pressure. We might mistake temporary wins for lasting fulfillment. We might lose ourselves chasing things that were never meant to define us. The beauty of a closed door is that it slows us down just long enough to align our lives with greater purpose. It forces us to reflect, to recalibrate, and sometimes to reimagine the life we thought we wanted. It reminds us that while ambition is good, trust is better, and it teaches us that the delay we dread is often the training we need. So the next time a door closes in front of you, remember, it's not the end of your story. It's not evidence that you are forgotten or overlooked. It is a deliberate, loving act by a God who sees the whole picture when you can only see a small part. Trust that protection. Embrace that preparation. Because when the right door opens, you'll be ready not just to walk through it, but to thrive on the other side. One of the greatest challenges we face is learning to trust timing. In a world that celebrates speed, instant results, and immediate gratification, waiting can feel like failure. When we don't see progress as quickly as we'd like, we start questioning ourselves. We wonder if we missed something, if we are falling behind, if maybe we are simply not good enough. But the truth is, timing is just as important as opportunity. Not everything we are meant to do, achieve, or experience is supposed to happen right now. Some things are meant to happen later, after we have grown, after the situation has matured, after the stage is fully set. We often want blessings we are not yet ready to carry. We ask for outcomes before we have built the foundation strong enough to hold them. We see the final destination and want to leap straight into it without realizing the journey is what makes us capable of sustaining the promise. Timing shapes us. It grows us into the kind of people who can receive what we have prayed for without being crushed by it. There are lessons that only time can teach us, and there is strength that only waiting can build within us. Sometimes, the delay we experience is not about punishment or rejection. It's about preparation. It's about building in us the patience, the wisdom, and the resilience necessary to thrive once the door does open. Without the proper timing, even a good opportunity can turn into a burden. Without the proper maturity, even the best gifts can be mishandled. Timing is not God's way of holding us back, it is His way of setting us up to succeed, not just momentarily, but in a way that lasts. The seasons of waiting stretch our faith. They force us to let go of our own agendas and surrender to a bigger plan. They ask us to trust that just because we can't see movement doesn't mean progress isn't happening. There is a lot that grows underground before anything blooms above the surface. In the same way, much of our development happens unseen before it manifests in our external lives. Waiting refines our desires, strengthens our resolve, and teaches us the kind of humility and gratitude that success cannot teach on its own. When we understand the importance of timing, we stop measuring our worth by how quickly things happen for us. We realize that comparison is meaningless because everyone's timing is different. Just because someone else's door opened before yours doesn't mean your time isn't coming. Just because the answer hasn't come yet doesn't mean it never will. The right thing at the wrong time can be as damaging as the wrong thing altogether. Trusting timing means believing that you are not forgotten. It means believing that what is meant for you will find you not early, not late, but exactly when it's supposed to. And when it does, you'll realize that the wait wasn't a waste. It was essential to becoming who you were always meant to be. One of the greatest struggles of faith is trusting that God is working even when there is no visible evidence. It's easy to believe when doors are opening, when prayers are being answered quickly, when everything seems to fall into place. But what about the silent seasons? What about the days, weeks, or even years when nothing seems to change, when all we hear is quiet? Those are the moments that test the depth of our trust and the strength of our belief. Just because we cannot see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. Some of the most important work God does in our lives happens behind the scenes, in places we cannot see and often don't even think about. Seeds grow roots underground before they ever sprout into view. Buildings are designed and foundations are laid long before any walls are visible. The same is true for our lives. Before the breakthrough comes, there is preparation. Before the door opens, there are 1,000 small steps unfolding behind the scenes to ensure that when the time comes, everything is ready. When God is silent, it is not because He has forgotten you. It is not because He is indifferent. Silence is not absence. Sometimes the quiet seasons are the ones where God is doing the most delicate, important work, aligning opportunities, building connections, shaping your heart, refining your character. The things you cannot see today are the very things setting you up for tomorrow. You may feel like you are standing still, but God is always moving on your behalf. If we could see all the ways God is orchestrating details for us, we would be overwhelmed with gratitude. We would realize how many dangers we've been protected from, how many wrong paths were blocked, how many opportunities were preserved for the right time. But faith is about trusting without seeing. It's about believing that the same God who was faithful before will be faithful again. It's about resting in the confidence that He is always at work, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Waiting seasons teach us to look deeper. They shift our focus from external achievements to internal transformation. They invite us to grow in patience, resilience, and hope. When we can trust that God is working behind the scenes, we no longer feel the need to force things. We no longer panic when our timeline doesn't unfold the way we imagined. Instead, we learn to walk with a steady, quiet confidence that what is meant for us is being prepared with great care. The work God does in the hidden places is no less real than what we see in public victories. In fact, it is often the hidden work that sustains the visible blessings when they finally arrive. Trusting that God is working even when you can't see it allows you to live with peace instead of anxiety, faith instead of fear, and joy instead of frustration. Because in the unseen, the greatest miracles are often being born. There's a paradox in life that many of us struggle to accept. Faith often grows the most in seasons of uncertainty. We tend to think of faith as something we hold on to when life is going smoothly, when everything is clear, and when answers come easily. But the truth is, faith is at its most powerful when the road ahead is shrouded in fog, when the next step is unclear, and when we are forced to rely on something greater than ourselves. In times of uncertainty, we are stripped of the illusion that we can control everything. We realize how little we actually know, how limited our perspective is, and how much of life is outside our grasp. It is in these moments, when everything seems unknown and unpredictable, that we are called to place our trust in God more deeply than ever. Faith isn't about having all the answers, it's about trusting in the one who has them even when we can't see them clearly ourselves. Uncertainty forces us to confront our own vulnerability. It challenges the illusion of control that we so desperately try to maintain. But in doing so, it opens the door to a deeper, more authentic faith. When life is certain, our trust in God is often passive. We thank Him when things go well, but we don't necessarily need Him every moment. But when things feel uncertain, we are drawn to God with greater intensity. Our prayers become more earnest, our hearts open wider. We lean into the faith we have because it's all we can hold on to. And it's in those moments, when we feel weak, that we discover the strength of God's love, His faithfulness, and His ability to carry us through. Faith that grows in uncertainty is a kind of faith that transcends circumstances. It's not about believing that everything will turn out exactly how we want it to, but trusting that God will bring good from whatever happens. It's the faith that says, even though I don't know the outcome, I know the one who holds the future. This kind of faith can endure hardship because it is anchored in something eternal, not in what we can see or control in the present. It grows as we are refined by the heat of life's challenges, learning to trust God not only with our successes, but also with our fears and failures. Without uncertainty, our faith would never deepen. It's in the times of waiting, of feeling lost, and of not having the answers that we realize how much we truly need God. And in that realization, we grow closer to Him, learning to depend on His wisdom and timing rather than our own. It's a faith that understands that while we may not always understand the why, we can trust in the who, the one who knows all things, who is working all things together for our good, even when we can't yet see it. Uncertainty forces us to surrender our need for control and accept that there is a larger plan at work. It refines our faith, purifying it and making it stronger, so that when the storm passes, we emerge not only with answers, but with a deeper trust in the one who guided us through it. And that faith becomes the foundation upon which we stand. No matter what uncertainties lie ahead,